The battle began without warning. Commander Changsu's flagship, a massive vessel scarred by years of fighting in deep space, fired the first shot. But it wasn't like anything Fleet Admiral Kidhar had ever seen. The weapon launched a stream of molten metal that burned through space like liquid fire. The projectile hit a Council cruiser and didn't just damage it, it melted through the hull like acid through paper. The alien ship folded in on itself as its structure liquefied. What was that? Kidhar demanded. His tactical officer's crystalline form was flickering with distress. Unknown weapon type, sir. Temperature readings are impossible. That metal was heated to stellar core temperatures. Around the system, the Deathworlder fleet opened fire. Each colony had brought their own specialized weapons, adapted from their horrible environments. Commander Yunji's Ice World ships launched projectiles that moved too fast to track. When they hit Council vessels, the enemy ships simply stopped moving. Their hulls turned white with frost, then shattered like glass in the cold of space. Ice cannons, Yunji reported calmly to her bridge crew. Target their engines. Once they can't move, they can't fight. Director Minho's Waterworld fleet used a different approach. Their ships fired streams of compressed liquid that hit with the force of tsunamis. Council shields, designed to stop energy weapons, offered no protection against raw kinetic force. The water streams punched through hulls and flooded ship interiors. Pressure weapons are effective, Minho observed, watching alien vessels implode under the assault. Their atmospheric systems weren't designed for deep ocean pressures. The Council fleet tried to respond, but their weapons seemed useless. Energy beams that could melt normal metal barely scratched the heat-resistant hulls of the volcanic world ships. Ice rays that could freeze normal vessels had no effect on ships designed to operate in absolute zero. Fleet Admiral Kidhar watched his tactical display with growing horror. Dozens of his ships were dying every minute, and they hadn't managed to destroy a single human vessel. Sir, his tactical officer reported, the human ships, they're not using normal tactics. Explain. They're ramming our vessels, deliberately, and surviving the impacts. On the screen, Kidhar watched a human ship crash directly into one of his heavy cruisers. Both vessels should have been destroyed. Instead, the human ship pulled away, its hull glowing with heat but intact. The Council cruiser broke apart. Colony leader Sung Ho laughed as his volcanic world ship emerged from the wreckage. These alien ships are made of weak metal. Our hulls are forged in lava flows. A little collision won't stop us. But the worst part wasn't the weapons or the ramming attacks. It was the way the humans fought. Council military doctrine was based on order, formation, and careful strategy. Ships stayed in assigned positions and followed detailed battle plans. The Deathworlders fought like a pack of wild animals. They used asteroid fields for cover, hiding behind rocks until Council ships came close, then striking from ambush. They grouped up to overwhelm isolated enemy vessels, then scattered before reinforcements could arrive. They ignored the rules of space combat completely. Captain So Young, who had survived the destruction of her first ship, now commanded a vessel from the high-gravity colonies. She led a squadron in a dive straight through the center of the Council formation, spinning and dodging through enemy fire with maneuvers that should have crushed her crew. High-G training pays off, she reported as her ships tore through the alien fleet. We can handle accelerations that would turn normal humans into paste. The radiation world colonists brought their own special horror. Their ships glowed with energy that made Council sensors go crazy. When they fired, their weapons turned enemy vessels radioactive. Council crews started dying from poisoning even if their ships weren't destroyed. Sir, Kidhar's tactical officer said, we're losing ships faster than we can count them. Our weapons aren't effective against their armor, but their weapons are destroying us easily. How is this possible? Kidhar demanded. Our technology is centuries ahead of theirs. I don't think it's about technology, sir. I think it's about experience. The truth was becoming clear. The Council species had grown soft during their long peace. They fought with machines and energy from safe distances. The Deathworlders fought with their hands, their bodies, their willingness to die for their homes. Commander Changsu's voice came over the communication channels, broadcast to both fleets. Council forces, you came here thinking humans were dangerous because we come from a death world. You were wrong. We're dangerous because we chose to go to death worlds. We're dangerous because we learned to love what should have killed us. A group of Council ships tried to retreat, but found their path blocked by human vessels that seemed to appear from nowhere. The deep space colonists had ships that could hide in the empty void between stars, invisible until they struck. No one leaves, Changsu continued. You voted to exterminate humanity. Now you learn what extinction feels like. The battle turned into a slaughter. Council ships fled in all directions, but the Deathworlders had positioned themselves all around the system. Every escape route was blocked by humans who had learned to fight in conditions that would kill anyone else. Fleet Admiral Kithar's flagship was surrounded by 6 human vessels. His shields were failing, his weapons were offline, and his crew was in panic. Sir, his tactical officer whispered, we should surrender. The Council does not surrender to primitives. Sir, with respect, these aren't primitives. There's something else. Something we created by trying to destroy them. A new voice came over the communication system. It was Admiral Sujin, speaking from one of the few original Earth ships still fighting. Admiral Kithar, this is Admiral Sujin. I'm offering you one chance to surrender. Never, Kithar replied. Then you'll die with your fleet. But I want you to understand something first. You came here to destroy Earth because you were afraid of what humans might become. Look around you. This is what we became. This is what fear creates. Through his bridge windows, Kithar could see human ships moving through the wreckage of his fleet. They weren't sleek or beautiful like Council vessels. They were ugly, scarred, built for survival instead of elegance, but they were alive and his ships were dying. You made us into monsters, Admiral Sujin continued. Every world you thought was too dangerous for life, we made into a home. Every environment you thought would kill us, we used to make ourselves stronger. You were afraid of humans from one death world. Now you face humans from 23 death worlds. Commander Yunji's ice ships had frozen a Council dreadnought solid. The massive vessel hung in space like a sculpture, its crew dead from the cold. Director Minho's pressure weapons had crushed an entire squadron of enemy fighters, their hulls compressed into metal balls. Colony leader Sung Ho's volcanic ships were using their molten metal cannons to write messages on the hulls of disabled Council vessels. Messages in human languages that the aliens couldn't read but somehow understood meant something terrible. Sir, Kithar's tactical officer said quietly, ship count is down to 400. We've lost over 2/3 of the fleet, and the humans, they've lost maybe 50 ships. Sir, we can't win this. Their ships are too tough, their tactics are too aggressive, and they fight like they have nothing to lose. Because they don't have anything to lose, Kithar realized. We already voted to destroy their home. From their perspective, this is a fight for survival. Commander Changsu's face appeared on the main screen one more time. Behind him, Kithar could see a bridge filled with humans whose eyes held no mercy. Admiral Kithar, your fleet is broken. Your ships are scattered. Your crew is dying. I'll ask once more. Do you surrender? Kithar looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at him with expressions of fear and defeat. Outside, the wreckage of the greatest fleet in galactic history floated in the darkness. He began, then stopped. His pride warred with his survival instinct. Sir, his tactical officer whispered, please let us live. Kithar closed his eyes. When he opened them, he was no longer the proud admiral who had come to destroy humanity. He was just a broken alien who had learned too late that some prey fights back. I surrender, he said quietly. The Deathworlders had won. The massive silver dome of the Galactic Council chamber stretched high above the assembled delegates. 47 different alien species sat in curved rows, their strange forms creating shadows under the bright lights. At the center of it all, a holographic display showed a small blue planet, spinning slowly in the darkness of space. Earth. Commander Daeho stood at the human delegation's small table, his hands clenched into fists. His dark uniform felt heavy on his shoulders as he watched the alien faces around him. Some had multiple eyes, others had no eyes at all. Some breathed different gases through masks, while others floated in liquid-filled suits. But they all shared one thing. They were looking at Earth like it was a disease that needed to be cut out. The vote is clear, announced Speaker Velton, the tall gray alien who led the council. His voice echoed through translation devices that turned his clicks and whistles into human words. The species known as humans pose a direct threat to galactic peace. Ambassador Heejin, an older woman with steel gray hair, leaned forward at their table. Speaker Velton, we came here in peace. We've done nothing wrong. Our only crime is existing. A sound like grinding metal came from the Nexari delegation, their version of laughter. The insect-like creatures moved their heads in quick, jerky motions. Nothing wrong, buzzed their translator. Your species has spread to 12 worlds in 50 years. You build weapons first, ask questions later. You turn every planet you touch into a fortress. Minister Jun-sik, the youngest of the human delegates, spoke up. We explore and settle new worlds because that's what we do. We build defenses because space is dangerous. That doesn't make us evil. It makes you dangerous, hissed a snake-like being from the Sithari Empire. We have watched your kind. You fight each other constantly on your homeworld. You poison your own air and water. You kill your own food animals. What will you do to us when you grow stronger? Daeho felt his heart racing. This wasn't going how they had planned. Earth's leaders had sent them here to make friends, to join the galactic community. Instead, they found themselves on trial for their very existence. Honored delegates, He-Jin said, standing slowly. Yes, humans have conflicts. Yes, we've made mistakes. But we're learning. We're growing. Give us a chance to prove we can be peaceful neighbors. The time for chances has passed, Speaker Velthan declared. We have evidence of human military buildup. Your ships carry weapons that violate 17 galactic peace treaties. Your soldiers train for planetary invasion scenarios. Your scientists develop new ways to kill. Because we have to, Jun-sik shouted, then caught himself. In a quieter voice, he continued. Our worlds are attacked by pirates and monsters from deep space. We build weapons to protect ourselves. Weapons that could destroy us all, said a floating jellyfish-like creature. The council has decided. The human threat must be ended before it spreads further. Daeho's blood went cold. What exactly are you saying? Speaker Velthan touched a control panel, and the hologram of Earth grew larger. The council will vote on Resolution 847 Alpha, a coordinated military action to pacify the human homeworld and prevent further expansion. You mean invasion? He-Jin said quietly. We mean survival, Velthan replied. The vote will proceed now. The chamber filled with the sounds of different species discussing in their own languages. Daeho could hear clicking, buzzing, whistling, and sounds he couldn't even identify. But he didn't need to understand the words to know what was happening. One by one, the species cast their votes. The Velthari Empire, yes. The Nexari Collective, yes. The Sithari Brotherhood, yes. The votes lit up on a massive display board. Green lights for yes, red lights for no. This is madness, Jun-sik whispered. They're talking about attacking Earth, billions of innocent people. They're scared, Daeho replied, watching the vote count climb. Scared of what we might become. The Crystalline Unity voted yes. The Hive Worlds voted yes. The Machine Consciousness voted yes. Green lights filled the display board like stars in the night sky, but not all the lights were green. The Peaceful Coalition voted no, they never supported violence. The Plant Mind Collective voted no, they thought all life was sacred. The Energy Beings voted no, they said physical conflicts were beneath them. The Ancient Ones voted no, they believed in second chances, it wasn't enough. The vote stands at 43 in favor, 4 against, Speaker Velthan announced. Resolution 847 Alpha is approved. The human species will be pacified within 30 standard galactic days. He-Jin stood up so fast her chair fell over. You can't do this. Earth has done nothing to deserve this. Earth has done everything to deserve this, buzzed the Nexari delegate. Your species is a virus. We are the cure. Daeho was already moving, his fingers flying over his communication device. The message was short but desperate. They're coming. All of them. 30 days. He hit send and watched the message disappear into space, racing toward Earth at faster than light speed. It would reach home in 6 hours. Earth would have 30 days to prepare for the impossible. Commander Daeho, Speaker Velthan said, you and your delegation will remain here as guest of the council until the operation is complete. Prisoners, you mean? Jun-sik said bitterly. Protection, Velthan corrected. We do not wish harm to come to you personally. You will be treated well. While you murder our families, He-Jin said. While we save the galaxy from your families. The speaker replied without emotion. Guards surrounded the human delegation. Tall, armored beings with energy weapons. They were polite but firm as they escorted the humans toward the chamber exits. As they walked, Daeho heard the delegates behind them already discussing the invasion plans. Fleet positions, weapon assignments, how to divide up human worlds after the conquest, sir, Jun-sik whispered as they walked. Do you think Earth can fight them? All 43 species? Tejo looked back at the massive chamber, at the hundreds of alien beings planning the destruction of his home world. Earth had a small space fleet, maybe 200 ships. The Council could bring thousands. I don't know, he admitted. But I know one thing. Humans don't give up. Ever. If they want to fight, they'll get one. As the doors sealed behind them, cutting off the sound of alien voices, Tejo wondered if his words were true. Could humanity really stand against the combined might of the galaxy? Or had the human race just been sentenced to death by beings too afraid to let them live? The message was already traveling through space, carrying news of the coming storm. Soon Earth would know. Soon the real fight would begin. Fleet Admiral Kithar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Celestial Dominion, watching the small blue planet grow larger on the main screen. Behind his ship, 3,000 vessels of the Galactic Council fleet moved through space in perfect formation. The largest armada in galactic history. Assembled to deal with one primitive world, sir, reported his tactical officer, a crystalline being whose body reflected light in strange patterns. Human defensive fleet is moving to intercept. 230 vessels confirmed. Kithar nodded with satisfaction. His tall gray form moved gracefully as he walked around the bridge, observing his crew at work. The Velthari had been warriors for 10,000 years. This would be easy. Open a channel to the human fleet, he ordered. The main screen changed to show Admiral Sujin sitting in the command chair of her flagship. She looked tired but determined, her Earth defense uniform crisp despite the stress lines around her eyes. I am Fleet Admiral Kithar of the Galactic Council Forces, he said formally. You are ordered to stand down and prepare for pacification. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Sujin stared back at him with cold eyes. Admiral Kithar, I am Admiral Sujin of the Earth Defense Fleet. We reject your ultimatum. Earth will defend itself. With 200 ships against 3,000? Kithar almost laughed. Your courage is admirable but pointless. You cannot win. Maybe not, Sujin admitted, but we'll make you pay for every meter of space. The transmission ended. Kithar turned to his tactical officer. Begin the attack. Target their largest ships first. Make this quick. The Council fleet spread out into attack formation. Ships from 43 different species moved with practiced coordination. The Nexari brought their swarm fighters. The Crystalline Unity deployed their energy lances. The Machine Consciousness activated their drone squadrons. Against them, Earth's small fleet looked pathetic. Human ships were bulky and primitive compared to the sleek Council vessels. Their weapons were crude projectile cannons instead of sophisticated energy beams. Their shields flickered uncertainly against the advanced targeting systems. Human fleet is moving to engage, reported the tactical officer. They're not running. Of course not, Kithar said. Humans are too stupid to run when they should. That's what makes them dangerous. And that's why they must be destroyed. The first exchange of fire lit up space with brilliant flashes. Council energy weapons struck human shields and overloaded them quickly. Human projectile weapons bounced harmlessly off advanced alien armor, but the humans kept fighting. Captain So Young commanded the Earth destroyer Incheon. Her ship was taking heavy damage from 3 Council cruisers, but she kept firing back. Her crew worked frantically to keep weapons and shields operational as explosions rocked the bridge. Sir, shouted her weapons officer. Forward guns are offline. Shield generators are failing. Keep firing, So Young ordered. If we're going down, we take someone with us. The Incheon rammed directly into a Council cruiser, both ships exploding in a ball of fire. The destruction was visible across the battlefield. Impressive, Kithar admitted, watching the tactical display. They fight well for primitives, but they're still losing. He was right. Earth's fleet was being systematically destroyed. For every Council ship lost, 4 or 5 human vessels died. The math was simple and brutal. On Earth's surface, General Taewoo watched the battle from his command bunker. The orbital defense platforms were firing continuously, but they were being picked off one by one. Soon the Council fleet would have clear shots at the planet itself. Sir, called Lieutenant Boram from her station. Message from Captain Wu Jin. He's made contact with 17 colonies so far. They're mobilizing, but it'll be at least 10 more days before anyone arrives. 10 days, Taewoo muttered. We need to hold for 10 more days. Dr. Nari was working at a computer terminal, her fingers flying over the keys. General, the quantum beacon network is ready. If we activate it now, it will send our final message to all the colonies simultaneously. What message? A complete tactical overview of the Council fleet. Ship positions, weapon capabilities, shield frequencies. Everything our people need to plan an effective counterattack. Taewoo looked at the tactical display showing the space battle. Only 80 human ships were still fighting. The Council had lost maybe 50 vessels. Do it, he ordered.
Send the message. Dr. Nari activated the quantum beacon.
A pulse of energy shot out from Earth faster than light, carrying detailed intelligence about the enemy fleet to every human colony in the galaxy. In space, Admiral Sujin's flagship was burning. Half her bridge crew was dead or wounded, and the ship's main engines were offline. But she was still firing, still fighting. Admiral, her communications officer called out through the smoke. Council fleet is moving into bombardment positions. They're preparing to attack the planet directly. Sujin looked at her tactical screen. The remaining Earth ships were scattered and heavily damaged. They couldn't stop what was coming next. All ships, this is Admiral Sujin, she broadcast on all frequencies. Fall back to planetary defense positions. Protect the orbital stations as long as possible. Fleet Admiral Kithar watched the human retreat with satisfaction. Pathetic. They can't even make a proper last stand. Sir, his tactical officer reported, human ships are regrouping around their orbital defense platforms. They're still trying to protect the planet. Let them try. All ships prepare for planetary bombardment. Target military installations first, then major population centers. The Council fleet began moving into position. 3,000 ships arranged themselves around Earth like a net of death, their weapons charged with energy that could crack continents. But as they prepared to fire, something strange happened. Sir, the tactical officer said, confusion in his crystalline voice. I'm detecting unusual energy readings at the edge of the system. Explain. Unknown signatures. Very large, moving this way at high speed. Kithar frowned. Show me. The main screen switched to long-range sensors. At first there was nothing but empty space. Then one by one new contacts began appearing. Ships dropping out of hyperspace in positions all around the system. How many? Kithar demanded. Still counting, sir. At least 500 contacts. Maybe more. Impossible. Intelligence reports indicated all human colonies were destroyed years ago. More ships kept appearing. They were strange-looking, unlike anything in the Council databases. Some seemed to be covered in ice. Others glowed with internal heat. Still others moved in ways that defied normal physics. Sir, the tactical officer's voice was getting higher. I'm reading over 800 contacts now. They're not stopping. Kithar stared at the screen. These weren't normal human ships. They looked wrong, dangerous, built for purposes he couldn't understand. Where did they come from? He whispered. On Earth, General Taewoo was staring at his own displays with amazement. How many ships is that? Over 1,000 now, sir, Boram reported. And they're still arriving. Dr. Nari looked up from her computer with excitement. Sir, I'm getting identification signals. Colony ships from Kepler 452c, Titan 7 Aquatica Proxima Station. They're all here. All of them. They actually made it, Taewoo breathed. The Deathworlders came home. In space, Fleet Admiral Kithar was no longer feeling confident. His tactical officer was reporting ship counts that seemed impossible. 1,500 human vessels confirmed, sir. They're surrounding our fleet. That's impossible. Humans don't have that many ships. Sir, incoming transmission from the human fleet. The screen showed a man in a military uniform Kithar didn't recognize. The human was scarred and weathered, with cold eyes that had seen too much. I am Commander Chang-Su of the Human Defense Compact, the man said in a voice like grinding stone. You came here to destroy our homeworld. That was a mistake. Kithar tried to maintain his composure. I am Fleet Admiral Kithar. You are outnumbered. We have 3,000 ships. Chang-Su smiled, and it was the most terrifying thing Kithar had ever seen. We have something you don't. What's that? We have nothing left to lose. Captain Woojin's ship dropped out of hyperspace near a red giant star. The heat sensors immediately started screaming warnings as radiation flooded the cockpit displays. Below him, a dark planet orbited close to the burning star, its surface covered in active volcanoes that painted the night side in orange and red. This is crazy, Woojin muttered, checking his instruments. No one can live on that thing, but his scanners showed otherwise. Metal structures dotted the planet's surface, clearly artificial. Ships moved between orbital stations that somehow survived in the intense heat. This was Kepler 452c, home to the first colony he needed to contact. The communication system crackled to life. Unknown ship, this is Volcanic Station Control. State your business or leave our space. You have 60 seconds. Wu Jin activated the emergency codes Dr. Nari had given him. This is Captain Wu Jin from Earth. I carry urgent messages from the home world. Authorization code Phoenix 77. Silence for a long moment. Then a different voice came through, older and rougher. Captain, this is Colony Leader Sung Ho. Phoenix codes haven't been used in 20 years. What's happening on Earth? Colony Leader, Earth is under attack. The Galactic Council has voted to invade. I'm carrying a call for help to all the colonies. Jesus Christ, Sung Ho breathed. Get down here. Landing pad 7. We'll talk face to face. The landing was terrifying. Wu Jin's ship descended through clouds of superheated gas and volcanic ash. The landing pad sat on a metal platform suspended over a lake of lava. As he stepped out of his ship, the heat hit him like a wall even through his environmental suit. Sung Ho was waiting for him. The colony leader was a big man with dark, weathered skin and bright eyes. His suit was different from Earth models, thicker with better heat shielding and cooling systems. Welcome to hell, Sung Ho said with a grin. Come on, let's get inside before you cook. They entered an underground complex carved directly into volcanic rock. The walls were covered in a strange, heat-resistant metal that seemed to glow with its own light. Humans moved through the corridors wearing light clothing, clearly adapted to the extreme environment. How do you survive here? Wu Jin asked as they walked. 25 years of adaptation, Sung Ho replied. When we first arrived, everyone had to wear full protection suits just to go outside. Now our kids can work in the mining tunnels wearing just breathing masks. They entered a large chamber where dozens of people were working at computer stations. The walls showed live feeds from the planet's surface. Volcanic eruptions, lava flows, and most surprisingly, human mining operations working right in the middle of it all. We've learned to use the volcanoes, Sung Ho explained. The heat powers our generators. The lava gives us raw materials. The toxic gases get processed into breathable air. What was supposed to kill us made us stronger. Wu Jin pulled out the message package from Earth. The Council is bringing 3,000 ships. They'll be at Earth in 28 days. Sung Ho read the documents quickly, his face growing dark. Those alien bastards think they can wipe out humanity? They have no idea what they're dealing with. Can you help? Do you have ships? We have ships designed to fly through solar flares and cosmic radiation. We have weapons that spray molten metal hot enough to melt through any armor. We have people who think a plasma storm is just bad weather. Sung Ho smiled grimly. Oh yes, we can help. 2 days later, Wu Jin's ship approached Titan 7, an ice world orbiting a dying star. The temperature readings showed -200 degrees. Nothing should be able to live there, but again his scanners showed cities. Massive domed structures connected by tunnels that ran across frozen continents. Ships moved through the system, their hulls covered in ice but still functioning. Commander Yunji met him at the landing bay. She was tall and pale with silver hair and eyes like ice. Her people had adapted to the cold in ways that seemed impossible. Earth is in trouble? She asked, reading the message package. Yes, we need all the help we can get. Yunji led him through the colony. The people here moved differently than normal humans. Smoother, more efficient, conserving energy in the cold. Their technology was amazing. Weapons that fired projectiles of supercooled matter, shields that could freeze incoming attacks solid. We've spent 20 years learning to fight in conditions that would kill anyone else, Yunji explained. Our ships can operate in the vacuum of space without any heating systems. Our weapons work by removing heat instead of adding it. The Council species all need warm environments to survive. Against us, they'll be helpless. The third colony was even stranger. Aquatica was a water world with no land masses, just endless oceans under a dim sun. Director Minho met Wu Jin in an underwater city that stretched for miles beneath the waves. We live in the deep ocean, Minho explained as they toured the facilities. Our ships are designed for underwater combat. We fight with pressure weapons that can crush metal like paper. Our people can survive in environments where the pressure would turn normal humans into paste. Swimming through the water around them, Wu Jin saw humans who had adapted to aquatic life. Their lung capacity was huge. Their muscles were denser. They moved through the water like they were born there. The Council fleets won't expect underwater attacks, Minho said. They'll think space is safe. They're wrong. Colony after colony told the same story. Humans who had adapted to impossible environments. People who had turned death worlds into homes and learned to fight using the very conditions that should have killed them. On the high-gravity world of Titan Prime, The colonists were shorter, but incredibly strong. Their ships could pull maneuvers that would crush normal humans. On the radiation-soaked world of Proxima Station, the colonists had developed technology that turned cosmic rays into weapons. Each colony had maybe 2 or 3 million people. But they weren't normal people anymore. They were humans who had learned to live in hell and turn hell into a weapon. How long until you can reach Earth? Wu Jin asked during his final stop. Colony leader Chang Su, a grizzled veteran who commanded the combined military forces, looked at the star charts. If we leave everything behind and push our ships to maximum speed, 15 days, maybe less. That gives us just enough time. Captain, Chang Su said seriously, I want you to take a message back to Earth. Tell General Taewoo that the colonies are coming. Tell him to hold on for 2 more weeks. Tell him that the Council picked a fight with the wrong species. What should I tell him about your capabilities? Chang Su smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. Tell him we're not the same humans who left Earth 25 years ago. We're something new, something harder, something that learns from pain and turns suffering into strength. Wu Jin looked around at the faces of the colony leaders who had gathered for this final meeting. They came from worlds that would kill normal humans in minutes. They had built civilizations in places where life shouldn't exist. They had turned environmental hell into military advantage. Tell Earth one more thing, added Commander Yunji. The Council thinks humans are dangerous because we come from a death world. They have no idea what we become when we choose death worlds on purpose. As Wu Jin prepared to leave for Earth, quantum messages were already flying between the colonies. Fleet mobilization orders, weapon system activations, coordination protocols developed over decades of secret communication. The Deathworlders were coming home, and they were bringing hell with them. The emergency alarm echoed through the underground halls of Earth Defense Command. Red lights flashed as military officers ran through corridors, their boots clicking on metal floors. General Taewoo stood in the main command center, staring at the message that had arrived 6 hours ago. They're coming, all of them. 30 days. Admiral Su Jin walked up beside him, her face pale. Sir, we've confirmed the message. Commander Daeho's signal came through official council channels. This is real. Taewoo nodded slowly. He was a big man with gray hair and scars from old battles. He had fought pirates and space monsters for 20 years, but this was different. This was war against the entire galaxy. How many ships can they bring? He asked. Our best guess is 3,000, Su Jin replied. Maybe more. The Council has 43 member species. Even the smaller ones have decent fleets. And we have 200 ships. Maybe 250 if we count the patrol boats and cargo vessels with weapons. Taewoo laughed, but there was no humor in it. 200 against 3,000. Those are terrible odds. Around them, other officers worked at computer screens trying to calculate Earth's chances. The numbers were bad no matter how they looked at them. Earth's technology was 50 years behind the Council's. Their weapons were weaker. Their shields were thinner. Their ships were slower. Sir, called out Lieutenant Boram from her station, we're getting reports from all Earth colonies. Luna Base is preparing defenses. Mars Station is moving their civilian population underground. The asteroid miners are asking for evacuation ships. Tell them to stay calm and follow emergency protocols, Taewoo ordered. We're not giving up yet. Dr. Nari entered the command center carrying a thick folder of papers. She was a small woman with bright eyes and messy hair from working all night. General, I need to speak with you. In private. Taewoo looked at her curiously. Dr. Nari ran the Deep Space Research Division, but her projects were usually quiet science work. What is it, Doctor? Not here, she said, glancing around at the other officers. Conference room now. 5 minutes later, Taewoo and Su Jin sat across from Dr. Nari in a small room with thick walls. The doctor spread her papers on the table and looked nervous. General, what I'm about to tell you is classified above top secret. Only 12 people on Earth know about it. Go on, Taewoo said. For the past 40 years, we've been sending secret messages into deep space. Not just communication signals, detailed information packages. History, technology, genetic samples, cultural records, everything needed to build a human colony. Su Jin frowned. Doctor, we know about the deep space missions, but those ships were lost. They never reported back. Because we told them not to, Nari said quietly. The missions weren't lost. They were hidden. We sent out 23 colony ships to worlds the Council doesn't know about. Worlds they think are uninhabitable. Taewoo felt his heart start beating faster. You're saying there are human colonies out there? Secret ones? Yes, and they've been developing on their own for decades. Each colony adapted to their environment. Some went to ice worlds where nothing should be able to live. Others went to volcanic planets or worlds with poisonous air. Places the council species could never survive. Death worlds, Sujin whispered. Exactly. The council thinks only crazy humans would try to live on such planets, so they ignore them completely. But our people didn't just survive, they thrived. Dr. Nari pulled out a star map covered in red dots. These are the colony locations. We've been getting coded messages from them for years. They're not just alive, they're growing, building, learning to fight in conditions that would kill anyone else. Taewoo studied the map. The red dots were scattered across a huge area of space far from any council worlds. How many people are we talking about? Conservative estimate? 50 million humans spread across 23 colonies. Each colony has developed unique technologies based on their environment. Ice world colonies built freeze weapons. Volcanic colonies developed heat-resistant materials. High-gravity colonies bred stronger, tougher humans. And they don't know about the council invasion? Sujin asked. Not yet, but we can warn them. Nari pointed to another set of papers. The quantum communication network is still active. We can send a message to all colonies simultaneously. Taewoo was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked up at Dr. Nari. What exactly are you suggesting? We call for help. We tell the colonies that Earth is under attack and ask them to come home. But getting a message to them will require a special ship with an experimental drive system. How experimental? Sujin asked. Very. The drive system uses quantum entanglement to achieve faster-than-light travel. It's never been tested with a human crew. The pilot might not survive the trip. But if he does survive, he can reach the colonies? In days instead of months. He could warn them and coordinate a response. Taewoo stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see Earth's blue sky and white clouds. Somewhere up there, alien fleets were already moving toward his home. Who would pilot this ship? He asked. I will. Everyone turned to see Captain Woo Jin standing in the doorway. He was young for a ship captain, maybe 30 years old, with steady hands and sharp eyes. Sir, I couldn't help overhearing, Woo Jin said. The door wasn't completely closed. Captain, this is a classified briefing, Sujin started to say. Admiral, with respect, if there's a chance to save Earth, I want to help. I've been flying experimental ships for 5 years. I know the risks, Taewoo looked at the young captain. The risk isn't just to you. If this fails, the colonies will never get the message. Earth will face the invasion alone. And if we do nothing, Earth faces the invasion alone anyway, Woo Jin replied. At least this way we have a chance. Dr. Nari opened another folder. The ship is ready. We've been preparing it for months just in case. All we need is a pilot brave enough to make the jump. How long would the mission take? Taewoo asked. 2 weeks to visit all the major colonies and coordinate a response. Maybe 3 if there are complications. That gives us 2 weeks to prepare Earth's defenses and hope the colonies can get here in time. Admiral Sujin shook her head. Sir, this is insane. We're gambling everything on colonies that might not even exist anymore. For all we know, those worlds killed everyone who landed on them. Maybe, Taewoo admitted. But what choice do we have? Fight the council with 200 ships and lose for certain, or take a chance that our people out there are tougher than anyone imagines? Captain Woo Jin stepped forward. General, give me the mission. Let me find out if the colonies are still alive. Let me bring them home. Taewoo looked around the room. Dr. Nari nodded encouragingly. Admiral Sujin looked worried but didn't object. Outside, the alarm was still ringing, reminding them that time was running out. Do it, Taewoo decided. Captain Woo Jin, you'll leave in 6 hours. Dr. Nari, prepare the ship and the message packages. Admiral Sujin, start preparing Earth's defenses. If this works, we might have a fighting chance. If it doesn't, we go down fighting, Sujin finished. Exactly, Taewoo said. Now move. We have a war to prepare for.